Hey everyone, welcome to my channel if you're new, welcome back if you're a returning subscriber. My name's Jonathan, I make luxury videos, unboxings, and reviews, and today's video is going to be a review on my vintage Louis Vuitton bag, as well as whether or not you should be purchasing brand new or vintage. So let's get into it. So we're going to start off this video with the review first, and then we're going to get into whether or not you should go vintage or buying brand new. So starting off with the review, I actually purchased this bag a couple weeks ago. It's going to say maybe around 3 weeks now. And I absolutely love this bag. I actually use it like all the time, even though we're still in quarantine. This bag is very versatile and actually has 3 different ways that you can wear it. Looking at this bag, you'll never actually tell that it is actually 20 years old. This bag was made in 2000, if you can't believe, but it looks amazing for its condition. Looking at the hardware, it obviously has signs of chipping, but it's still very shiny and brass. And then the vachetta has a lot of golden browning on it, and the only issue that the bag had with it is the strap, or sorry, the handle here has cracking on the leather. But you can go to Louis Vuitton, and I do have an appointment next week to see how much the vachetta is going to cost to get it all replaced. But I kind of am debating whether or not I want to do that, just because this is a vintage piece and it is 20 years old, and I feel like it's been through a lot already. And if I get the leather replaced, it's going to look brand new, and then it just kind of like loses its character. So that's probably probably a reason why some people do go the vintage route, is when you purchase these kind of bags, they have so much character and nostalgia to them, just because they've already been through so much that you just can't help but love them how they look already. So if you wanted to get them replaced, you can. I will let you know once I do so, or if I do so, and the pricing. But for now, I'm still up in the air about it. So this bag, like I said, can be worn 3 ways. It can be worn crossbody, it could be worn as a backpack, or it could be worn as a shoulder bag. As well as you can remove the straps here, and you can actually use it as like a little carry-on, which is pretty cool. So that's actually 4 ways. 4 ways you can use this versatile bag. It does feature one big pocket here, like so. The only thing that it did not come with is the leather tag, as well as the lock, but you can always go to Louis Vuitton and get that replaced. The locks, I believe, are around 50 bucks, and same with the leather tag, but I have to double check that for you. It does have one big pocket on the inside, like so, where it does have the made in stamp. This one was made in France. And then it does have one huge compartment for all of your stuff, and then it has 2 slip pockets here, which I'm currently using, and then it has a smaller slip pocket, and then it has a little compartment here that you can put like your hand sanitizer or whatever, as that is a necessity right now. I absolutely love this bag. I didn't think that I would find it as useful, just because, I don't know, I just thought it's a little bit too small, but I'm actually using it quite a bit, and I'm actually loving it every single day. Like I mentioned, this bag is in amazing condition for its age. It's 20 years old, and you can wear it 3 different ways. The strap is removable, so you actually don't even have to have the strap on it, and you can just use it as like a little briefcase, or if you wanted to use it as a little carry-on, you can definitely do that as well. So I just emptied it out, and you can see it's literally like a little backpack. There is a giant hole in here where you can just literally fill it with anything. It is like a cloth-lined material, as well as what I really love about it is it has little vachetta pen loops, which I think is great, and little details like that is what surprises me. And nowadays, if you were to look at a bag like this, it wouldn't have a vachetta pen loops like that. It would just be cloth lined. So I think the little details that the vintage bags had were definitely a lot more noticeable and more appreciated than the bags now, just because I feel like now they're a little bit more mass produced, because everybody wants to have a Louis Vuitton. So I feel like the vintage bags have a little bit more characteristics than the newer bags do. as well as this bag actually retailed for the same price as a Keepall 45 back in the time. So this bag was made in France. The day code is BA1010. So because this is a vintage piece, the day code will read a little bit differently. So this was actually made in the 11th month of 2000. So this is actually from November 2000, and you can definitely tell that it's does not look like that at all. So when I purchased this from the original seller, he had told me that his grandmother had this bag and had carried it throughout the world. She went all over the world with this piece, so technically I feel like this piece has gone through a lot more travel than I have for the amount of time that it's been on this earth. So it's in amazing condition. I honestly cannot see any fault with this bag. He definitely took care of this bag. The hardware on the zipper pull for this one exactly is still fairly fresh. The only thing that I noticed were the tarnishing on the main zipper pull, which is expected, and then he did mention that he did have cracking on here, which is completely fair. He actually also got the straps for the Vachetta done 6 years ago, I believe, if I recall. And so that's why the straps don't have any cracking on them. And it does look a little bit different patina than the actual Vachetta on the bag, which is completely fine. Eventually it's gonna golden brown the same way if I just not use the strap as much, or if I just leave the strap out more and keep this in dust bag. But as you can tell, the canvas for the vintage bag feels a lot more well-made. For some reason, the new monogram pieces, they feel like the canvas is a little bit thinner than the older style bags. Like for this one, you can like smoosh it and everything, and it will repopulate back its shape. But I feel like for the newer monogram pieces, or even the newer canvas pieces in general, the canvas is a little bit more thinner, and I feel a little bit more like pliable, and you can like smoosh it around and it won't keep its shape as much. I definitely feel like this one has a lot more structure compared to the newer monogram pieces, so that's another pro as to why I would probably go vintage versus going to the boutique. Aside from having a whole bunch of character for this piece versus the boutique, where you're gonna have to add love and add character to it as you wear it. Another thing is some vintage bags are really reasonably priced. So I believe I paid around $500 for this, considering that this bag was a $1,400 bag back in the day. So probably with inflation or whatever, it'll be around $2,000, $2,500 in today's money, which is insane for a bag like this. But because I went the vintage route, I saved myself a couple $100, couple $1,000. So that's definitely a pro to go with. The only things that I would probably suggest you go into purchase brand new for is things like runway pieces or harder to find items. And what I mean by that is some of the runway pieces don't even get to the regular consumer. They get sent to exclusive members via email, and they get sent product links before the launch dates. So sometimes the runway pieces don't actually make it onto the website for the average consumer to purchase. So by the time they actually get sold, or by the time they actually get launched, the prices of those items might actually be a little bit more than retail. So I would suggest, if you're able to purchase it on the website, definitely purchase those runway pieces on the website, or else once they're gone, once they're discontinued, prices are going to skyrocket. Versus vintage bags like this, they're obviously discontinued now and they're not making it, but because they are older and more loved, you can get them at very reasonable prices. One thing that I do want to put out there, that if you are going to be purchasing vintage, you definitely want to make sure you do your research and your homework. You want to make sure that you find a lot of pictures, you get a lot of pictures from the seller, you ask them a lot of questions, or you even go to a lot of these online websites that do authentications as well. Definitely have to find out which one is the right authentication for you. Some of them are a lot better than others. The one that I've been using and the one that I've been referring to people is Pro Authentication. No, this is not affiliated with them. It's just something that the Facebook group that I'm in, they use that a lot to authenticate some of their bags. I personally use it sometimes, but but I also do authenticate myself just because I've been collecting for 10 years. So I feel like I know the ins and outs or what to kind of look for. So I would definitely spend the $10 if you're having any doubts or if you're feeling a little bit uneasy. It's a quick $10. They usually respond within 10 to 15 minutes, and you have to just send them all the photos, the date code, and the made-in stamp, and they'll be able to get back to you on whether or not the bag is authentic or not. Another thing that I find is a little bit more of a pro to go the vintage route versus the boutique route is you're gonna get a bag that not a lot of people have out there. So what I mean by that is, if I carry this bag, I don't necessarily think I'm gonna ever run or come across somebody in the mall or while I'm out at a restaurant with this exact same bag. Versus if I were to go to the boutique and I were to purchase like a Neverfull or a Keepall or a Speedy, everybody and their mom, dog, grandma has those bags. So you're not gonna be kind of like unique and stand out. And I kind of like to go with my own style and not follow the crowd. So because everybody has those bags, it makes me not want to have those bags. So that's why I went a vintage route, and I picked something that I know I'm not going to see a lot of, and I know that I'm going to be the one that's going to stand out, and it's going to be like an eye catcher for some people. So that's definitely another pro for me anyway. But again, to each their own. That is something that I look for when I want to purchase something. I don't want to have it so saturated out there that everybody is wearing it and that I'm kind of just following a trend. I kind of want to make my own trends, and I want to be the first person to kind of like start something. So that's why I went the vintage route for my bag. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Question of the day is, would you go vintage or would you go brand new? Leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!